Hello and welcome to the video lecture 1 of Module 12 of the Introduction to New Music online course. The first period of electronic music as we encountered it in Module 6, that lasted from the 1950s to the late 70s, comprises an elite phase since inventions, evolutions, technological progress and subsequent musical creation were limited inside the lab. The grand electronic studios were built within national radio broadcast networks and universities in Europe and America. Their state-of-the-art computer technology of the time, whose enormous cost could only be covered by public funds and heavy private sponsoring, was made available to a limited number of distinguished composers and high-tech engineers. The digital revolution of the 1980s thoroughly transformed both the medium of electroacoustic music and literally every aspect of music making, from electronic as well as non-electronic composition to performance, distribution, consumption and perception due to the emergence of personal computers and dissemination of audio software. The effect of such a sweeping and revolutionary procedure at the end of the 20th century can be comprehended not only as a simplification and democratization of music and art, but also as a step to bypass the literate traditions of performance and pencil and paper process of music creation into a new orality and perhaps towards a forthcoming age of post-literacy. Examples of recent tendencies as regards sound art, noise manipulation, free improvisation, social experimentation, performance art and electroacoustic media include the Echtzeitmusik scene in Berlin, first introduced in the mid-1990s in the open spaces of the city's east side after the fall of the Berlin Wall, or the London, Tokyo and Vienna reductionism trends. Such trends placed openness and social engagement as core elements of interactive artistic and musical pursuits. Music technology and digital computing always acquired a special place in their activities. Same goes for established institutions of experimental contemporary music of today, like QO2, a structurally subsidized workspace that mainly promotes acoustic and electronic improvisation and composed music, as well as installations and sound art, founded in Brussels in 2006. A good example of the transition from the elite phase to a more interactive, widespread and democratic dissemination of music creation and multimedia technology is the transformation of IRCAM, the French Institute for Research and Coordination in Music and Acoustics. Founded by the French government in 1977, IRCAM is today generally considered as perhaps the world's leading institute of avant-garde electroacoustical art music, in terms of artistic vision meeting with scientific and technological innovation. Fully operative from 1977, stocked with electronic and computer equipment and staffed with skillful technicians and electronic engineers, IRCAM immediately began inviting composers, music theorists and musicologists for residencies and fellowships. Pierre Boulez, the father figure of the classical avant-garde of the 1950s and 60s, was its director from 1977 to 1992 and remained faithful to the sustaining elite model of spectacular big system technological development. Under the assurance of a generous stately government funding, Boulez ordered the Sogitech 4X computer, a digital sound processing workstation custom-built for IRCAM. 4X was the last large hardware processor to be built before the development of more portable and affordable digital sound processing platforms. In the early 1980s, 4X was regarded as the most advanced equipment of its kind worldwide. This instantly placed IRCAM among the pioneering leaders of electroacoustic music and allowed the French to acquire a status of emblematic progress blended with political and nationalistic significance. Furthermore, IRCAM's sophisticated electronic equipment gave way to several different directions of artistic and technological research, for example, the development of new software like the Max MSP, Initially authored by Miller Puckett in 1985, a visual programming language for music and multimedia that has been widely used ever since by composers, performers, software designers, researchers, and artists to create recordings, performances, and installations. However, Boulet's high modernist commitments and, let's say, his discomfort with small machines put him against the IRCAM's support staff of technicians and engineers who favored the commercial development of personal computers and software. It was David Wessel who championed the use of personal computers for music research and creation, while working from 1976 to 1988 as the Director of Pedagogy and Software Development at IRCAM, where Apple Macintosh computers and Yamaha synthesizers arrived at 1984. Furthermore, Wessel engaged with composers, researchers, and students on topics ranging from computer programming for music to the cognitive psychology of hearing. He described what came to be known as the Wessel illusion, a phenomenon in which timbre determines the way a listener groups the musical notes in a melody. Two emblematic musical works from that period show the progress from a meticulous, fully composed out musical score, including pencil and paper procedures and also electronic media, to the elaboration of purely electronic equipment and software in order a musical work to be both conceived and created. In the early 1980s, Boulez was at a mature phase of his career. Having completed his tenure as artistic director of the New York Philharmonic in 1977, he maintained a busy schedule, accepting conducting invitations from orchestras, opera houses and ensembles all over the world. Répond is one of his few works coming from that period, whose initial version is for 6 soloists playing harp, cymbalom, vibraphone, glockenspiel, xylophone, and 2 pianos, an enlarged chamber orchestra, and live electronics. It was the first significant work to come out of Boulez's endeavors at IRCAM and has been praised for its integration of the electronic and the acoustic. Of course, it follows Boulez's previous style of meticulous elaboration of a score with precise instructions both for the instrumentalists as well as the live electronics technicians. This actually is where its title derives from as well. Répond reflects the fact that the composition is constructed on various types of responses. The acoustic sounds and the electronic responses to them, as well as the medieval idea of responsorial mirroring between players and speakers in different parts of the concert hall. This work is also an early example of a sound analysis perspective that became a critical research project at IRCAM, spatialization. For the electroacoustic realization of Répond, Boulez collaborated with Andrea Gerso. During the 1980s, the British composer Jonathan Harvey produced much music at IRCAM after receiving an invitation from Boulez to work there. He was very much occupied with the software created at IRCAM for sound processing and real-time interactions within musical composition. Mortuos plango vivos voco, which means I mourn the dead, I call the living, is a famous work Harvey produced at IRCAM. It is a purely electronic musical composition for 8-track tape based on 2 contrasting pre-existing sounds: the tenor bell at Winchester Cathedral in England and the voice of the composer's song at the time a chorister at the cathedral. The pitch and time structure of the work is entirely based on the bell's rich, irregular harmonic spectrum, a structure neither tonal nor dodecaphonic nor modal in any Western or Oriental sense, but unique to itself. Constant transformations between the spectrum of a vocal vowel and that of the bell are made by internal manipulation of the 2 sounds components. The walls of the concert hall are conceived as the sides of the bell, inside which is the audience and around which, especially in the original 8-channel version, flies the free spirit of the boy. Harvey analyzed the bell's harmonic spectrum with the fast Fourier transform program at IRCAM Synthesizing and mixing was done with IRCAM's version of the software program Music 5 originally. The boy's voice was synthesized from a live recording using the singing synthesis program Chant, developed by Gerald Bennett and Xavier Rodet. Harvey was technically assisted by Stanley Haynes. Mortus Plango Vivos Voco is a prime example of the artistic and research purposes IRCAM has been serving for 40 years now. Today, IRCAM's three core principles, creation, research, transmission, are manifest in several activities. Besides being on the cutting edge of scientific and technological innovations through its research lab network, IRCAM is also a center for computer music education. The institute is a reference point for professional training in collaboration with researchers and composers from different countries, hosting a university curriculum offering master's and doctoral degree programs. IRCAM's educational activities also include the general public, and the Institute has developed interactive teaching software programs in collaboration with the French Ministry of Education and music conservatories. Furthermore, the Institute's annual Rendezvous Manifest combines an international festival with a multidisciplinary academy and in productions throughout France and abroad, which makes contemporary music creation also available to the public. Check this short video for an overview of IRCAM and its importance for new music today, and please also see the presentation and all online resources in the relevant folders of Module 12 for more information. Another relevant example of a large institution devoted to contemporary art, including music, is ZKM, the Center for Art and Media based in Karlsruhe, Germany. It is a house of all media and genres, a house of both spatial arts such as painting, photography and sculpture, and time-based arts such as film, video, media art, music, dance, theater and performance. The ZKM was founded in 1989 with a mission of continuing the classical arts into the digital age by combining research and production, exhibitions and performances, collections and archives, mediation and events. Through interdisciplinary connections of these fields of work, the ZKM, as an agile organization, can present and produce the development of art and media of the 20th and 21st centuries. symposia and other formats of theoretical discourse between art, philosophy, science, technology, business and politics complement the ZKM program to examine the effects of medialization, digitization and globalization on society. ZKM is home to 2 museums, 3 research institutions, a media center, a laboratory, as well as a number of event spaces, as you see in the graph. ZKM hosts the Institute for Music and Acoustics that carries out research and development in the field of electroacoustic and experimental music, as well as in the spheres of digital sound systems and algorithmic composition. It also supports guest artists and scientists in productions, organizes contemporary concerts and initiates symposia and festivals. Thus, the European meeting of the electronic studios, called Next Generation, takes place biannually at the concert festival Quantum Leaps on the 6-monthly basis. In addition to this, the Institute awards the Gigahertz Prize, that is the most generously endowed award for electronic music, as well as the Walter Fink Prize for Dance, Electronic Music and Media since 2009. Located in the interior of the Blue Cube event space, there is a sound studio for artistic productions. Furthermore, as part of the Institute's archives and collections, the audio collection comprises the titles of contemporary music with an emphasis on electroacoustic music, and in addition to audio recordings, the collection includes scores, specialist publications, historical photography and posters. Special importance is attributed to the International Digital Electroacoustic Music Archive, IDEAMA, which includes pieces of electroacoustic music from its inception through to the present. In addition to works of video art and electronic music, the ZKM collects archives and documents on the electronic arts, such as on video art, electroacoustic music, computer art and intermediate forms. It provides researchers with insight and an understanding for the artistic developments of the foregoing 50 years. The common ZKM library, shared with the Karlsruhe University of Arts and Design, comprises approximately 53,000 books, journals and digital storage media. Thematically, its inventory concentrates on 20th and 21st century art and above all on media art, architecture, design, media theory, film, photography and of course electroacoustic music. Please check out the informatory short video about ZKM that follows, and also see the presentation and all online resources and the relevant folders of Module 12 for more information.
Unique throughout the world, the ZKM Center for Art and Media. The ZKM was founded in 1989 with the mission to perpetuate the classical arts into the digital age. Since then, it has housed not just the spatially based arts such as painting, but also the whole variety of time-based arts such as video and performance. The ZKM addresses current topics that influence 21st century society. Challenges and solutions are discussed here. In the exhibitions, innovative ideas, developments, and productions are presented as could only arise within art. These provide valuable stimuli inside and outside the art scene. A building that not only shows art but also produces it, that not only conveys but also pushes forward into new areas. Here, ZKM has not only taken on the task to preserve the early digital productions, but to do research on the future. Visitors can participate in this. They may experiment and become part of the artwork. Art becomes an experience.